Hey guys, it's me, Bugsy. I'm getting back into fan writing, and I haven't done that in a very long time. With the age verse and everything, I'm not telling you that I'm like some sort of expert or like I know what these characters would do in this situation. I just know because what this character we're about to talk about, it's pretty much a better guess that that the Sonic I'm about this version of Sonic this version of Sonic I'm about to talk about comes from this fan fiction called Sonic Insanity, which is like Sonic dates Amy, Sonic loses Amy, Sonic goes insane. And I was looking at it because Dylan and Jesse and all their buddies was they were talking literally about they were like reading that story. And I found a few problems here and there, and I'm not gonna come down hard on the person who read Sonic Insanity because that's not what I'm here for. I'm just gonna tell you how I'd write it because I just feel like there's a lot of untapped potential you gotta win. See, when most people try to tackle these kinds of subjects, like the mental aspect of certain characters, they always seem to go into this unrealistic thing where characters act out of character, and and Sonic in this story, even with his grief, would act really out of character. Okay, now let me explain. Amy dies because she got ran over in a car accident. Like Sonic is like have it like Sonic is trying to meet Amy for their little second date, right? Okay. So let's say go Sonic comes Sonic is like getting a chili dog or something. Something that distracts him. And Amy's tired of waiting for Sonic to show up. Not like she's gonna set up, but she's going to go to his house and see where he's at. She is mad though. But while she's being mad, she doesn't see where she goes, and boom, everything happens. And it happens like that. Sonic finds out and goes, I was too slow. They have a funeral. They have all that. Sonic in his grief is not he. I see this going in two ways. Sonic not wanting to go, Sonic wanting to help people 24/7, nonstop, 24 hours. He keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going to the point where he doesn't even want to go home. His very words, I was too slow, I was too slow, I was too slow. It's all he can hear about. It's all he's freaking feeling at the moment. He is literally like, I was too slow, I was too slow, I was too slow, I was too slow. And you're probably wondering to yourself, Bugsy, why would that freak out Sonic? Because think about it. Sonic prides himself on being the fastest thing alive, yes? What? Seriously. And there've been other Sonic media where Sonic actually fears that he's too slow to help anybody. He has this kind of irrational fear of it. Even in Sunny M, and yeah, I know I shouldn't be using Sunny M for this, but it does show that Sonic does fear. In that one, Sonic does fear being too slow to save Sally before she gets roboticized. So I feel like Sonic would have a persistent fear of being too slow to save his friends, his loved ones. So I feel like Sonic would literally just keep helping people, keep helping people. He's like a machine at this point. He's not really doing his usual, yeah, hey, stay out of trouble this time, or he says he'd have a little catchphrase, and he'd see you later, or he'd have something to say, right? But he doesn't. He just goes on to the next person in trouble, because again, he fights Eggman. And I'm not in Sonic Insanity. Eggman dies because Sonic just kills him, and I'm like, ugh. No, I would have Eggman actually be the one to snap him out of it. And you're probably like, Bugsy, how would you do that? I know it's very presumptuous. I think that you would know what I'm saying, but just roll with me on this. But I feel like Eggman's kind of like the Joker in the same vein where they're like, without Sonic, there's no fun. There's no actual fun in me trying to take over the world. There's no fun with me actually to trying to overthrow anybody because he's not around. That's what makes this fun. I can pin my genius to Sonic. And I feel like he'd help him because not because he wants to, but mostly because of his fucking big ass ego. He needs to have his enemy in top fighting position, in top rated position, because to Eggman, it's more of a game. He wants to rule the world, yeah, but it's more of a game. It's more of a game to him nowadays. So he tries to get a little further in his plans. Sonic stops him. He wants to take over the world, but it's like I said, it's like a dance. It's like a dance. It's like there's a certain rhythm to those things. And yes, I'm using a lot of Joker's lines in that, but yeah, it's like that. So yeah, I feel like Sonic would, you know, Eggman literally, take Sonic. He can either kidnap him or take him willingly. And he goes, Sonic, listen, I know you. It's like, I know you missing me. I know you do. Losing somebody is never easy. I don't know why Eggman sounds like this. Just roll with it, guys. Losing someone is never easy, but you can persevere from it. But Eggman, I feel guilty for not saying all the things I needed to say to Amy before she passed. All the years I spent running away from her, not being there for her. And guys, do not get it twisted. I'm a Sonic Alley fan through and through, but I feel like if I was writing it, even though I'd mostly write Sonic Alley stuff, when we get to Sonic's part in the H verse, I just feel like it's more. I feel like if you're gonna do this, I say do it in a way that speaks to Sonic's character. I say have Robotnik do that because, trust me, he'd want to because he'd want to keep Sonic in fighting condition. Again, he'd want to take over the world, but having Sonic there to rub it in his face that he beat him and all the stuff, beat him, he beat him and just, basically was like, yes, I won. Because he'd want that moment. He'd want to just have Sonic at his best just so he could beat him. I think that's the real reason if Sonic was so called tortured in forces and Eggman never killed him, it was all because when he fully ruled 100% of the world, he would want Sonic to see it. He'd want Sonic to see all his friends and his world down. I mean, destroyed. Why did I say down? Destroyed. So then he can gloat and then probably kill him. Or here's another thing: make him into a badnik. So yeah, I feel like that's one way of doing it. The other way kind of leans back into a kind of like one little thing that a certain green hedgehog said to the Sonic once. It would take, if you had one bad day, you'd be just like me. So let's say it had like the thing I described to Amy, like Sonic being too slow and all that stuff. Let's say it gets to him in another way. Sonic feels like saving people, saving anybody. There's no point to it. He actually sort of becomes like Shadow and a little bit like Scourge himself. He's a lot more belligerent. He's a lot more angry. He's a lot more volatile. I'm not saying that's. I'm not saying that. I'm basically saying, yeah, in this, all intents and purposes, Amy was like his linchpin. And when that was removed, after a lot of denial and a lot of screaming and a lot of kicking, he just straight up turns evil. And in this version, I'd have him even say, I'd either have him become evil, stay evil at the end, and go, "You were right, Scourge. I am just like you." Or here's another thing: I'd actually have Sonic really come to his senses maybe maybe Robotnik actually tries to like kill Tails, and he snaps out of it. Because let's say he was doing a whole bunch of shit for Eggman, and Eggman literally told him, "Hey, kill Tails. If you really want to prove that if you really want to prove that you're evil, dear boy, kill Tails." And Sonic actually has some hesitation, probably a mental struggle with himself, and he ultimately decides not to do it. And I'd actually have Eggman manipulating him to actually do some of these deeds. Because again, all Eggman would really have to do is manipulate Sonic's grief to a point where he's actually got all the control. Do I think this would actually happen in the games or any other continuity? No. Because I feel like Sonic, to me, the first situation would be more like Sonic. And because, like I said, in the first situation, he'd feel like he's too slow. He feels like he wouldn't be able to save Amy or anybody else. He'd really feel so down, so out, so freaking low about himself for even trying to for not being there for Amy. He would work around the clock so that would never happen again. I wouldn't say he'd go completely evil. He's just more workaholic because he wants to make a world where no one dies before it's their time. And and being a man who has lost his dad, that thought kind of ran across my mind a few times. Even though it was dumb, it like ran across my mind like one time. I was like, nope, that's stupid. What the fuck am I thinking? But yeah, like Sonic would basically. But yeah, I feel like the first situation is a little bit more, a little bit more Sonic. But I feel like Eggman's the one person, um, and how that would actually work. Eggman like fights Sonic over and over and over again. Sonic doesn't do any banter. He just beats him. He just beats him and moves on. It's like Sonic's really it's like Sonic's going through the motions almost. And just right when I'm thinking about Buffy once more with feeling now. Shit. Oh god, man, no, I gotta stop before I start thinking about Sonic singing that. But yeah, I feel like Sonic going insane could be a good thing. Could work. But honestly, I just think him like crumpling down to this kind of level is just not him. I think he'd mostly be like, and there's another thing. I feel like he'd mostly stay in his house. He wouldn't even feel like running around. He wouldn't even feel like going anywhere. He wouldn't feel like doing anything. He'd just be sitting on his couch, just kind of sitting there watching TV, just not doing anything. You know, You know why that would probably be another thing because that's how I felt. That's how I felt. That's how I felt when my dad died. Felt like I didn't want to do anything. I feel like Sonic would be the same way. You know, he just felt like, what's the point of doing anything if all you're ever gonna get, if all I'm, he'd be like, what's the point of doing anything if all I'm ever going to get is just heartache? So, he'd be like, he'd want to not try. I feel like that would work too. But the whole thing with Sonic getting a doll and getting mad at Tails and barking and like getting all you're the one that did this, Cream, to Sonic is kind of it's more comical than it is sad, man. And maybe it's just me because I'm just one of those people that can be a little critique. Yeah, I'm a little bit. I can critique people, and I can be a little bit anal about it. But I just think, eh, as stories go, it's just not a. It's like the way the story goes. I mean, you have a good premise, but you just kind of don't know how to use it really. I'm not saying I have the better one. Trust me, someone could probably put what I had and done it even better. But I'm just telling you how I would do it if it were me. And again, I want to prove to you one time that yes, maybe yeah, Sonic and Amy ain't my ideal ship if we're talking about the if we're talking about if we're talking about the comics. I mean, she is my idea. Like Sonic and Amy are my ideal ship when you talk about Sonic Boom, but I know that ain't gonna happen. I ain't gonna sit here and be like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like True Love Hearts. But I feel like if you're gonna make Sonic, if you're going to make Sonic do anything to Amy's death, have him feel guilty, have him keep working around the clock, have him be so freaking racked with guilt he doesn't even want to go home to face his feelings. Like seriously, when Amy dies, he doesn't cry, he doesn't really do anything. It's just it numbs him. I feel like that will work. Anyways, that's all I got. Peace.